This is Bray Beavers Football Club. I invited them to watch a 1950s propaganda video shown to school children to warn them of the dangers of homosexuals. The team features players from all generations, young and old. I suppose my first question would be, are there any gay members in your football team?
I'm not sure. Nobody openly has.
No. I wanted to get their responses to this video and see whether they feel homophobia is an issue in their everyday lives, and especially in their beloved game. Do you think there could be, but they're not open?
Especially in professional sport, where it's not a common thing for people to come out and have the confidence, because they're faced with so many people around them, so many people talking about it.
Then during lunch, Ralph showed him some pornographic pictures. Jimmy knew he shouldn't be interested, but, well, he was curious.
It would seem we've come a long way since the days of homosexual acts being illegal and marriage being solely between a man and a woman. And if you compare Britain to the likes of Russia and Uganda, we certainly are leading the way in terms of accepting and embracing homosexuals. But how far have we really come? Has homophobia sunk from a surface issue to a remaining underlying fear? And if so, where has this fear manifested?
What Jimmy didn't know was that Ralph was sick, a sickness that was not visible like smallpox, but no less dangerous and contagious, a sickness of the mind. You see, Ralph was a homosexual, a person who demands an intimate relationship with members of their own sex.
I noticed that you gave a little giggle when it said Ralph was a homosexual.
Yeah.
It seems quite ludicrous to us now, doesn't it? In today society. Did you? I mean, you mentioned already before that it was something you didn't speak about. This is a very American thing to do.
Yeah, sure.
But did you ever see anything like that at all?
No. The nearest I could say I ever got to something like that, I played football for quite a number of years for a team called Pathfinders, and there was another club. It was a big club. I mean, a lot of kids played football there and so on. There was another club called Rainbow, and the guy there was a guy called Wyn David, and everybody was convinced that he was a homosexual. But as a kid, I mean, it didn't mean anything to me anyway, I mean, I was only 11, 12 or whatever at the time.
Do you think it's a thing where they may be a bit scared to come out? Not necessarily in your team, but in a general sense.
I think for me it's really odd, because football seems to be the kind of last bastion of sport, or sport in general, where the rest of society, a lot's changed in the workplace, in entertainment, all those other fields, but for some reason sport seems different. And I'm not really sure why that should be.
Do you think the kind of culture, male culture of football, could stop people wanting to play football?
Oh, absolutely. I'm sure it probably does. It's strange to think that there are so few players that have openly come out and said they're gay. Which, do I think that's a concern? No, I don't. I don't think it's anyone else's business. Having said that, I'm not a great supporter of homosexuals, but there again, I don't go out my way to find them, court them socially or whatever. That's what you are.
Is there a reason you don't?
Yeah, I don't
support?
like it.
Okay. Why is that?
Because I think it's immoral. I think it's unnatural. And whilst I'm not religious, and I may live to regret this, it does actually say in the Bible that you shouldn't commit a certain act.
So it's not from a religious standpoint that you feel that?
No.
Okay, it's interesting.
No, it's not. But I just don't think it's the right way to carry on.
He bought presents and even gave him money, but payments were expected in return.
I think in the early 80s, when AIDS started to become a lot more commonly known about, I think there was a lot of concern.
There is now a danger that has become a threat to us all. It is a deadly disease and there is no known cure.
This was a public information film made in 1986 about the dangers of contracting AIDS. It struck fear into the hearts of many, and I wondered if it had an effect on their views of homosexuals. Do you think this sort of fear of AIDS that there obviously was, do you think there's a correlation between that and a fear of homosexuals? Do you think they go hand in hand, or do you think they're...
Oh yeah, undoubtedly. I mean, the fear factor came about because of homosexual sexual relations, undoubtedly. But sadly now it's spread elsewhere as well, isn't it? But is it as bad as they're trying to make out? I don't know. No idea.
It's quite hard to tell the difference between disagreement with homosexuality and a fear of it within people. Disagreement with the homosexual way of life is perfectly normal, but a fear can be irrational and may even be unconscious. So it's difficult to say whether there is still a fear of gay people or not. One thing is for sure though, it seems we're past the days of these types of fear-mongering videos.
One never knows when the homosexual is about. He may appear normal, and it may be too late when you discover he is mentally ill. So keep with your group, and don't go off alone with strangers unless you have the permission of your parent or teacher.